Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Happy June 1st, guys. It is the beginning of the month, and so we have now just recently seen last month's close on the charts. First, let's take a look at the 1 hour chart here, though, for Bitcoin. You guys can see on the, on an hour-to-hour basis, Bitcoin is still trending pretty much sideways. Not too much difference since yesterday. Yesterday, we were trading in around 68.2, and today we're in and around 67.6. So not, really too much activity here on the Bitcoin chart. Again, this is more of the same kind of trend that we've been seeing pretty much since the beginning of March. Ups and downs. I mean, yes, we were trending lower there for a while, but now it looks like we are on the uptick. So it looks as though Bitcoin is changing its trend direction overall. We did see that bottom point at the beginning of May, and May was a fairly bullish month for Bitcoin. As you guys can see, greed is now receding a little bit. We're back down to 60. We were in the mid 60s there for a while, but now we're back down to 60. It's because market cap has not really grown too much. We're not really seeing more money enter the crypto market. So that's down by about 0.5%. 24-hour volume, that's down too. So not a lot of trading activity. And we're seeing Bitcoin dominance also go down to 52.7%. So the people that are purchasing cryptocurrencies, they are purchasing altcoins and not necessarily Bitcoin. Within the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is down 1.06. We got the rest of the crypto market basically in the red, but down by anywhere between 1 and 3 points. And then anywhere up between 1 and 3 points, generally speaking. I mean, that's going to differ depending on any particular cryptocurrency that you look at. But really, it is a quiet time for Bitcoin right now. Hopefully, we do see this trend continue to make its way up throughout June. If we take a look at the XRP chart, guys, XRP also falling into the same trend here. Yesterday was at 51 cents, 51.9, and today we're at 51.9, so pretty much the same thing. Splitting hairs really at this point in time. But let's just go back to the Bitcoin chart here and take a look at that monthly close. So that's the daily. Let's take a look at the monthly here. Monthly close. So on the monthly, guys, it looks as though Bitcoin did close up. So that is looking fairly positive. We are probably going to see a little bit more of this before we see that next leg to the upside. If I were to wager a guess, June might be a bit of a down month overall, but not lower than where we saw Bitcoin go at its lowest in May, which would have been in around there, which would have been around, 56? Yeah, 56,000, give or take. Again, this would be the monthly candlestick. So if I were to just kind of show you guys where we were in terms of that in the last bull run, we were in and around here somewhere. So the majority of candlesticks were green with a few retracement months before we started to see that euphoria kick in. And guys, that is where we are at today. Euphoria phase just around the corner. If you guys are interested in what I'm trading this bull run, you can find me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. For all my picks and trades, I've been asking my Patreon subscribers if they'd like to see a top 5 cryptocurrency diversification portfolio. I've diversified into 18-ish different cryptocurrencies. There are still some that have really good potential, and so I'm going to be doing that top 5 hopefully this coming week. Again, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel if you guys are interested. The market still has to mature, and Brad Garlinghouse echoed this sentiment at Consensus 2024. I don't think Dogecoin has been good for the industry. Well, he's not against Dogecoin. I'll let Brad explain it.
It's shocking to me that the United States, the largest economy in the world, represents the bottom decile of regulatory clarity. I think when you get the real unlock of the United States economy and you get the real institutional money flowing in, I think it's just hard to predict some of the upside opportunity. But the biggest thing I'll highlight, and where does this go? We have to be about more than speculation. I get a ton of when I say these things, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think Dogecoin has been a good thing for the industry. And I'm not anti-Dogecoin. But it's I don't know what the use case is. I don't know, are there projects being built to solve real utility? And I see lots of real utility across lots of different, chains. And I think that is what is critical. And what's for me, the 10-year prediction has to be about, it's not about speculation, it's about solving real problems.
So you guys get it when he's saying this? You guys understand when I keep saying there are 2 crypto worlds really out there? There's the utility and there's the spec. Today we are in a spec market and we have to trade accordingly. This is why I have the Patreon, guys. It's different to trade in spec than to, speculate. I guess you'd call it the same thing, ironically. On cryptocurrencies for real world use cases, Brad Garlinghouse makes a very good point here. But, the fact of the matter remains, at the beginning of this clip, I think it overshadowed what he was saying at the end of the clip, the United States is the biggest crypto market, yet they're in the bottom in terms of regulatory clarity. So when we actually see that money unleashed into the space, we are going to see the crypto market surge. Let's not forget, total crypto market right now sits at about $2.4 trillion, just in around there, 2.46 trillion. So when we see the US market kind of full of institutional investors kind of kick it up a notch, guys, we could go to 10 trillion, 12 trillion, 15 trillion very, very easily, and that's only up 300% from here. So that will bring the rest of the cryptocurrency market up with it. Michael Branch here bringing this to our attention. Now, when it comes to spec and possibly a surge of real-world utility by the end of the bull market, Javin Marks here pointed this out. This is an article regarding top analyst Javin Marks identifying XRP's hidden bull divergence. So he's suggesting that the project could 300x no problem. A hidden bull divergence occurs when the price of an asset makes a higher low, while momentum indicators such as the RSI, the relative strength index, makes a lower low. I'm going to read this Javin Marks tweet for you guys, explaining this to you. So moment by moment, price of XRP inches closer and closer to the coinciding point of the showcased pennant coil pattern. If you guys can see on the chart, the XRP chart here, this coil pattern is a thing of beauty here. I'm going to put it on the weekly to show you guys what I mean here. We've just been coiling up on the XRP chart for quite some time, pretty much since June of 2022. And, it's been that slow grind. Basically, the coil pattern is that slow grind to the upside, where we've seen price appreciate from 29 cents back in June of 2022 all the way to 52 cents today. So it's not a huge increase, only about 85%. But, it's been over the time span of roughly, how long has it been? Oh, it's June 22 years, pretty much. Yeah, 2 years exactly. It's June 2024. This was June 2022. So what he's saying here, a very extended coil pattern and a bullish breakout can be what's in store as the RSI and price confirmation, a hidden bullish divergence that technically implies underlying strength of an already extended uptrend. So that is the extended uptrend, and hopefully we see that price action quite soon. This pattern, the hidden bull pattern, can also indicate the continuing of the preceding trend, which in this case is a massive one, as prices of XRP are coming from an over 110,000% climb. Now, I mean, if you look at, when we did get to all-time highs for XRP, this was the high back in January 2018 of $3 and change, $3.84 on some exchanges. And we came from, in March of 2017, so less than a year. This was only a 10-month window, guys, of activity where we did see XRP price go from here, pretty much from here, all the way to here, 42,454%. Yeah, that's not 4,200, that's 42,000% in the span of 10 months. Now, of course, the conditions were different. Today, though, guys, more people are in the XRP community than ever before. So the bullish breakout, with the help of this divergence, can spark yet another momentum climb, which, with a logarithmic breakout and follow-through, could consist of an approximately 36,000% upside into the 200s per XRP. Now, he bolds this statement here. XRP has already displayed its running potential of a 1,110x, which can make the visualized breakout and 360x more feasible. Here's the chart that he posted here. A very long-term zoomed out trend here, guys, showing us the 42,000% here. If we were to go up 42,000%, and again, by no means am I saying this is going to happen for sure, but, just based on some of these technicals and taking a look at what has happened in the past, because you got to remember the last bull run, although it was a little disappointing, it was very different. The circumstances were very different. Even Brad Garlinghouse was saying, we're not regulatory compliant yet. So could you imagine, with the regulatory compliance, with this money moving into XRP and, the rest of the crypto market for that matter, how high the price could go by 2025? So 42,000, that brings us into the 200s again. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but part of it will depend on, possibly, maybe even not, but part of it will depend, in my opinion, if I were to give you my opinion on the real world use cases and the interoperability. As David Schwartz points out here, that is how we're going to get massive adoption for DLT and blockchain technologies as a whole.
The biggest one for me particularly is interoperability. Mm-hmm. Nobody would use the internet if it was just one website. and I think the same thing is going to happen with blockchains. Blockchains are going to be, there are going to be some that, like Bitcoin, are basically just to move an asset. And there are some like Ethereum where you can bring any use case you want, but it's not particularly great for payments, or it's not particularly great for like large scale data storage. It may not be great for AI. But if we have all of these specialized solutions that don't work together, and people are going to constantly have to think about, when you use a website, you don't have to think about what hardware they're using, what software they're using, how they connect. It all just works. We're going to have to come up with technologies that allow the entire system to just work for people, so that they don't have to think, oh, I have my funds on this blockchain, or the token I want to buy is over on this other blockchain. And I see a lot of people who we don't really know how to do that very well yet. There are a lot of people who think they, when you're pushing a technology, it's tempting to say that it solves every problem perfectly, but we all know that interoperability is going to be something we're going to be working on for a long time, and it's just going to gradually get better. But I think like the very first step of that is token portability, and there's a lot of companies that I've spoken to who have really good solutions to that, and I think like that is the baby step that we absolutely have to have. But if people have to think about what blockchains they're using, what technologies they're using, then we're never going to get messed up.
But
so that is going to be a big part of it. That is why we need a clear framework in the United States. It's unfortunate that now we've got President Biden vetoing the latest bill here. Stuart Alderati pointing this out. I'm no political savant, but alienating the 20% of voting Americans that own crypto 5 months before the election seems like a losing move to me. This just happened yesterday, guys, Friday, May the 31st, a message to the White House of Representatives on the president's veto of HJ Res 109, basically vetoing SAB 121. Matt, a lawman here, also commenting on this. Biden issues Friday night a veto of bipartisan bill repealing SAB 121. Biden crypto industry outreach reminds me of Gary Gensler inviting crypto industry players to come in and register. It seems that way, doesn't it? So a surprising shift coming from the Biden camp. President Joe Biden's re-election campaign has begun reaching out to the crypto industry players over the past 2 weeks for guidance on crypto community and policy. Sources did tell the block, these are just the quick takeaways, by the way. Sources told the block they noticed a significant shift in tone from the Biden administration and campaign towards crypto, with a new willingness to understand digital assets and their communities. The new outreach efforts come shortly after the Biden administration faced backlash for signaling it would veto the repeal of an alleged anti-crypto legislative measure. So they basically said no to SAB 121. The campaign's newfound engagement with digital asset experts comes shortly after crypto advocates opposed the Biden administration's plan to veto the bill, a controversial crypto legislative measure criticized for potentially discouraging financial institutions from providing crypto asset custody services. So in a nutshell, basically the big financial institutions in the United States will not be able to custody cryptocurrencies under this bill. That's a stark contrast to Trump's stance as recently as 2021 when he called cryptocurrencies a very dangerous thing. Like President Biden's campaign, former President Trump also had a team that seems to have moved the presumptive GOP nominee towards a more positive stance on digital assets. If you guys remember Trump just last week or a couple of weeks ago, he did say that he was going to be pro-crypto. If you guys didn't catch that video, I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. They have very smart and capable people advising on that front, and you've seen some of the results of that. And we'll see more in the coming months, said a source within Trump's inner circle with ties to the crypto industry. So Brad Garlinghouse also came out, if the Biden administration is actually serious about a shift and finally waking up to the crypto electorate, the single most important thing they can do is demand the resignation of Gary Gensler. Now, Brad Garlinghouse did post that a few hours earlier yesterday, around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then only 12 hours ago, so around, 6 p.m., he did post, well, after only a few hours, this post did not age well. To say that this is incredibly disappointing from the White House at an incredibly pivotal time is an understatement. Reposting this article here that I just read to you guys. So Brad, not terribly happy about it. And I think, the crypto industry was taken aback to a degree. Good morning, crypto here also commenting. President Biden vetoed SAB 121, a bill that allowed highly regulated financial firms to hold Bitcoin and digital assets in the USA. This Republican-led resolution would inappropriately constrain the SEC's abilities to set forth appropriate guardrails and address future issues. So, very interesting that they're making it a partisan issue. The bill was vetoed to give Gary Gensler and the SEC more power over the crypto industry. So you can see there are probably some backdoor deals, some ties that have to do with, the current administration, Gary Gensler, the SEC, it sounds as though are central to the reason why Joe Biden did decide to veto this. Adam Cochran also commenting, a dumb stance by the administration on SAB 121 because their concern isn't even with the crypto portion itself, it's the implementation. But this remains the important line. Biden's administration now actively wants regulatory framework for digital assets and realizes it's important to U.S. development. A year ago, you'd never dream of that. SAB is a poor implementation. Congress striking a regulator's guidance carte blanche without implementing a new law or restriction on power is also poor implementation. Dumb to veto it, but the message is clear to Congress. Bring it back up to the executive with a framework that makes clear limits on the SEC's authority, and it gets signed. So they want some clear limitations on the SEC. They do not want the SEC out of the situation altogether. For example, get FIT 21 through the Senate, and there is no need for SAB 121 as it's not Gensler's jurisdiction. So some other people here commenting, I seriously can't believe you are trying to put a positive spin on this. What is your angle? Why do you believe Dems are good for your bag, says Gabriel Shapiro. I believe Trump is bad for my bag, says Adam Cochran. Aw, Muffet. I know any actual politician can be reasoned and bartered with when you engage on policy and stop treating political parties like sports teams, but when you write off an entire side of the political aisle, you do yourself no favors. We want crypto to be a nonpartisan issue that means working with both sides. Yeah, but when the Dems are in the back pockets of big banks, it's kind of hard to do that, Adam. It's kind of hard to do that. We know you're a Democrat, but we also know you're into crypto, and you got to just see this for what it is worth, and swallow your pride, friend. Swallow your pride. At the end of the day, Trump will be good for crypto if he does follow through with all those talking points that he brings up when it comes to crypto, and I have a feeling that it is just the winning side at this point. Like who was it? Stuart Al-Aradi was saying, alienating 20% of voting Americans is just not going to bode well for this next election. So I'm really excited to see what happens come November, as I keep saying. Anyway, wanted to thank Adam and Good Morning Crypto and Brad Garlinghouse. Of course, Metal Lawman, Stuart Al-Aradi, Vet here for bringing this up, Javin, boy, I didn't thank anybody this morning, Michael Branch and everyone else. Now, because of this, because we don't have the clear regulation and because it's moving at a snail's pace, Brad Garlinghouse did recently come out at Consensus stating this about a possible Ripple IPO. Listen to this.
Do you want to go public?
That's a good question. My pause is, look, today, sitting here, Gary Gensler is the chair of the United States SEC. I'm not really popular inside the offices of the SEC, as you might imagine.
Well, the NYSE president was in that chair yesterday, and she said that she welcomed applicants from the crypto ecosystem, IPO markets heating back up.
Lynn Martin, I think, is a progressive example of where we should be. That's not where Gary Gensler is. And so the SEC has to approve an S1. Going public in the United States for Ripple right now, I don't think makes any sense. I think Coinbase, as a public company in the United States, probably regrets that decision. We've looked at, would we consider going public outside the United States? That, of course, is in the possibilities. Right now, it's just not on our immediate term agenda.
So not in their agenda, unfortunately, and even Brad Garlinghouse commenting that Coinbase maybe regrets going public when they did. So, I think the tides will turn once we do get that regulatory clarity. I was hopeful, I was optimistic that we would see a Ripple IPO when we did see the market essentially rally. Remember, we did see that Coinbase IPO in and around here. This is the total market cap. So it was basically it was on the day that XRP reached its all-time high, sometime in mid-April 2021. That's when we saw the Coinbase IPO. It was at the top of the market for alts. But at this point in time, it's sounding as though, the patina is wearing off in terms of, the excitement that we're getting surrounding the crypto regulation in the United States, considering we're still getting vetoes from the top brass over there at the White House. It's okay though, guys. It's not going to be forever, and we will still prevail in this spec run. Thank goodness for the spec run, right? The ISO Goat posting this. Thank you, Kurt, for this reminder. 92% of XRP holders hold less than 5,000 XRP. So if you hold more than 5,000 XRP, you are in the top 8%. And I like to bring up this chart every now and then. For those of you guys maybe new to the space, maybe new to the XRP community, it is at rich-list.info. I will link this in the description of the video. And it shows you guys, it updates as well. It shows you guys if you hold X amount of XRP, how many accounts hold that same amount. So for example, between 10,000 and 25,000 XRP, 146,240 accounts hold that much. And that is the total amount that they hold. And so the one down here also shows you guys if you hold, for example, above 61,310 XRP, you are in the 1% of XRP holders. So you can find out where you rank here. Again, I will link this in the description of the video for you guys. And could you imagine if we do go to $200, over $200 per coin, what that would mean for all of us? We will need the crypto regulation, I think, in order for that real world utility to kick in at the end of 24 and into 25. But we're going to need a bit of a reset. Even Hester Purse makes that clear.
Heard a lot about throughout the conference is concern from attendees here about regulation via enforcement, about the aggressive tack that the SEC has taken in enforcement matters. Does it concern you as a commissioner that so many in the industry are viewing the SEC as an adversary or as a obstacle to progress?
No, it certainly does. And I mean, I think I've had some similar concerns to what you've heard, that we're using enforcement as the primary way to make policy in this area. And that's just not the most effective way. It's not effective for the industry, but it's also not effective for us as a regulator with limited resources. And so I think we really need a reset. We need to engage people in policy making whose job is not enforcement, but whose job is actually policy making. And that's a different set of people at the SEC.
So according to Hester Purse, it's going to be policy and policymakers that change this. We've got to get out of this funk, guys, if we want to see XRP and other cryptos reach new all-time highs, because institutional money is just not going to come pouring in. I mean, luckily, at least the exchanges have relisted XRP. That's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.